And someday, long after this convention, long after the signs come down and the crowd stop cheering and the band stop playing, may it be said of our campaign that we kept the faith. May it be said of our party that we found our faith again. And may it be said of us, both in dark passages and in bright days, in the words of Tennyson that my brothers quoted and loved, and that have special meaning for me now. I am a part of all that I have met. Too much is taken, much abides. That which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. For me, a few hours ago, this campaign came to an end.
You remember your first trip to Fort Collins?
I really didn't know what to expect. I thought like it was gonna be in the movies. The school was gonna be directly in the mountains. I mean, my mother was nervous for me to come out here, coming so far away. But once I got to the school, I captured the moment and captured all the fellas that was at the school. So I fell in love with the school. Our family's so tight where it's to the point where I know my personal struggles or the whole team's personal struggles. And what I mean by that is this whole summer, I've been working to put my mama through school. You know what I'm saying? She going for a degree. I was working for the summer so she can pay her books, her tuition. And I told the whole team, well, not the whole, I told part of the team, the people that's on my lockers, and they felt my struggle. And they rounded up some money and helped me pay for my mama's books. It was the last book and I didn't have enough money for it. And a couple guys that's on my lockers that's next to me pay for to help her go through college. So when I say our family is built on love, words can't explain how much we'll fight for each other.
If I see one of my teammates on the side of the road, it's basically me on the side of the road. If I see my teammate struggling, need a ride, is hurting, need somewhere to go, need a place to stay, it's me that's there too.
I've learned a lot from my mom about that. She was born in Puerto Rico and she moved to New York when she was really young. Just kind of her actions and what she did, you know, for me and my brothers throughout our lives. It's kind of just, see, when you get older, you kind of understand that a little bit more. Everything that she did was always for us. She thought of us before she thought of herself. I feel like football is like, teaches you so much. How to work and, you know, how to respond to things when they aren't going your way.
Knowing that we can't play on Saturdays, so they go out there, practice hard, and then we kind of live through them on Saturdays, and they know that. Even though we might not travel with the team, we're still a part of it. Going out there, giving it our all, 100%, as if we're playing on Saturdays.
You know, all of us, everyone's looking to prove themselves out there, just so that they can, you know, get a spark in the coach's minds, like, hey, this guy could possibly play and he could possibly help us.
That's what we strive for every week, to get our name called, to maybe just get that one chance. I say it's every kid's dream to one day to go out there and run on the field in front of 30,000, 40,000 people and get to play the sport that they love.
It's always been that not what's right now, but what's in the future. And you know, like, understand. It takes time. It takes time, and sometimes you don't hear your name called out. But it's always that kind of that belief that eventually you'll have a bigger role. You have to, fight, honestly. For me, I think it's paid off. I got to get in Boise and play against them for a little bit. Where other guys might, play all the time, you kind of, I guess you lose appreciation for it, of just stepping on the field. But definitely appreciated, everything. Like right when I stepped on, I stepped on and I got lined up, and I just was looking around and just thinking in my head, like this is happening. I'm about to do this. Surreal, honestly. It really did feel surreal. Being in front of the crowd, not lining up against your teammates, but lining up against an opponent, a real opponent.
The work that the scouts put in during the week, we get a lot of those looks in practice. Air Force, they're going to run that triple option, so we need to see that from our scouts.
Bryce Peters from Houston, Texas. This week I'm number 3 off of Air Force, their fullback.
I can say it in Spanish. Me llamo José Manuel Ceriteño. Soy de Las Vegas. This week I'm a defensive end.
Hey, good job today, boys. And let me get it grind on 3. 1, 2, 3, grind!
It's so important to know where you are. And I know where I am right now. How do you go from where you are to where you want to be? And I think you have to have an enthusiasm for life. You have to have a dream, a goal, and you have to be willing to work for it. I talked about my family. My family is so important. I urge all of you, to enjoy your life, the precious moments you have. To spend each day with some laughter and some thought, to get your emotions going, to be enthusiastic every day. Nothing great can be accomplished without enthusiasm, to keep your dreams alive in spite of problems, whatever you have. To be able to work hard for your dreams to come true, become a reality. Now I look at where I am now, and I know what I want to do.
Just having the success we had in the 90s was pretty special, and I think I realize it more now than ever just how special it is. It's tough to win football games. You got 4 or 5 years if you're lucky. Time's short. Time is short. You got to enjoy this every moment of the way, and I know it's hard to do sometimes because football's tough, and sometimes you're miserable. And when you're pushing a sled around or you're going through the chutes at practice, and it's hard to see the big picture. But those guys that you're working out there with, you're going to make lifelong friends, and some of them are going to be around forever. I've already experienced it. Anthony Cesario 5 years ago, he died. He had a massive heart attack, and this is a guy I played right next to for 5 years. We were roommates in the hotel every single week, and we lived together for a year off campus, and I mean, we just grinded together for years out on that football field, and got to the point where we barely had to make a call. We had to make calls for the rest of the guys on the line, but between me and him, we had this bond, and then you get the phone call, and that was one of the toughest phone calls I've ever gotten in my life. And Anthony he's an All-American at CSU, he's in the Hall of Fame, and he's an unbelievable guy. And gosh, I mean, he's somebody, if you're in the back alley, you want to be with him, not against him, because he was a tough, hard-nosed player. But, I cherish every time I get a chance to see an old teammate of mine. I mean, you can take the moment, you got to tell them how much they meant to you, because you never know when that moment's going to pass you by. And every time I hear some geese flying over and honking, I look up in the sky and I think about Anthony Cesario, because he was a big hunter. Wish I had one more day with him. This is a guy who probably, if we didn't have football, we wouldn't have been friends. I'll be honest with you, because he was raised one way, and he was from Pueblo, and I was raised in kind of a somewhat different family. I mean, and Anthony and I, we were as close as you can get.